Before the first moon landing, 3 astronauts died during a test on the ground. No rocket had launched, no mission had begun. The spacecraft caught fire while sitting still. This happened 2 years before anyone reached the moon. By July 1969, the public saw success. What the public did not know was this: humans finally attempted to land on the moon. No one could be certain that the surface would hold them, that the engine would restart, or that the crew would return alive. Those questions were not resolved beforehand. They were resolved only after the landing had already begun. This record explains how, at the time of the first landing attempt, no human had ever stood on another world. No one had tested how the moon's surface would react to real weight. No one had confirmed that a spacecraft could land there and then leave again. There was no full rehearsal. Some questions could not be answered on Earth. They would only be answered after the spacecraft had already committed to descending toward the moon. If you value calm, these records are created for thoughtful listening and for those who prefer depth over noise. These events unfolded between 1957 and 1969. They took place across laboratories, factories, launch pads, and control rooms in the United States. This period is known as the space race. It is often remembered as confident. Internal records show something quieter. Progress existed. Certainty did not. Responsibility for the moon landing rested with NASA. NASA was created in 1958. It was not a finished organization. It brought together military technology, civilian research, and private contractors. Many systems were built at the same time. Testing often followed construction. This saved time. It also meant that some risks appeared late. In 1961, the United States announced a national objective. A human would land on the moon and return safely to Earth before the end of the decade. At that moment, no rocket capable of the mission had flown, no lunar landing vehicle existed, and no confirmed surface data was complete. The promise came first. The plan followed. Early programs focused on survival. The Mercury program tested whether humans could endure launch and orbit. The Gemini program tested longer missions, spacewalks and docking between spacecraft. These missions succeeded. They also revealed danger. Astronauts struggled to control movement. Spacewalks caused exhaustion. Navigation errors required manual correction. Problems were documented. Solutions followed exposure. The schedule continued. The Apollo program required 3 separate systems: a command module, a service module, a lunar module. Each was built by different teams. Integration happened late. Some failures appeared only when everything was connected. Judgment became critical. By the mid-1960s, internal reviews raised concerns. Some materials inside the spacecraft burned easily. Electrical wiring was crowded. The hatch design slowed emergency exit. These issues were known. They were discussed. They did not stop the program. In January 1967, a routine ground test was conducted. The spacecraft was sealed. The cabin was filled with pure oxygen. There was no fuel, no launch. A fire began inside the capsule. The cause was never fully confirmed. The fire spread in seconds. The hatch could not be opened. 3 astronauts died. The mission had not begun. Crews stopped flying. Design changes followed. Flammable materials were removed. The hatch was redesigned. Testing procedures were rewritten. Oversight increased. The moon deadline remained. Uncrewed missions tested the redesigned systems. Some revealed serious problems. Engines shut down early. Rockets vibrated violently. Fixes were applied. Crewed missions resumed. In December 1968, astronauts orbited the moon. They did not land. There was no rescue plan. If failure occurred, return would not have been possible. The mission succeeded. Confidence increased. Later missions tested the lunar module. One descended close to the surface, closer than planned. A guidance error caused instability. The crew corrected it manually. The incident was recorded. Public discussion was limited. Before the first landing attempt, uncertainties remained. The moon's surface strength was unknown. Navigation depended on exact timing. Computers had limited capacity. Communication delays meant decisions would be made without immediate help from Earth. These conditions were accepted. The mission selected to attempt the landing was Apollo 11. Approval was administrative. Risk assessments listed remaining unknowns. They were judged acceptable. As the spacecraft descended, computer alarms appeared. They were not expected. Mission Control analyzed them in real time. The descent continued. The planned landing site appeared unsafe. Large rocks filled the area. Fuel levels dropped. The commander took manual control. Seconds remained. The spacecraft touched the surface. Dust rose. Sensors confirmed contact. Fuel was nearly exhausted. The engine shut down. As the spacecraft descended, computer alarms appeared. They were not expected. Mission Control analyzed them in real time. The descent continued. The planned landing site appeared unsafe. Large rocks filled the area. Fuel levels dropped. The commander took manual control. Seconds remained. The spacecraft touched the surface. Dust rose. Sensors confirmed contact. Fuel was nearly exhausted. The engine shut down. The spacecraft did not sink. The surface held. The moon was not like Earth. There was no air, no wind, no sound. The surface was covered in fine dust. It was compacted by billions of years without weather. Footprints formed sharply. They did not fade. The light behaved differently. There was no atmosphere to soften it. Sunlight was extremely bright. Shadows were completely dark. Depth was difficult to judge. Objects appeared closer or farther than they truly were. The sky was black. It remained black even in daylight. Stars were not easily visible. Earth appeared small. It hung motionless in the sky. Movement felt lighter. Gravity was weaker. Walking required adjustment. The suits were stiff. A hopping motion conserved energy. Temperature extremes were present. In sunlight, surfaces became very hot. In shadow, temperatures dropped sharply. Nothing moderated heat. Nothing moved. Work continued. Samples were collected, instruments were deployed, photographs were taken, all actions were deliberate. Return was not yet guaranteed. The ascent engine had not been tested in lunar conditions. There was no backup. When the ascent engine ignited, it fired cleanly. The spacecraft lifted from the surface. Dust settled immediately. Only then was return assured. The moon was not welcoming. It was not hostile. It was indifferent. The moon landing is remembered as a moment. This record documents the conditions around it. Unfinished systems, accepted uncertainty, decisions made after commitment. The outcome is recorded elsewhere. This record ends here. If moments like this matter to you, moments when humanity stepped into the unknown and never came back the same, then stay with us. Subscribe to Quiet History, where the past is remembered, not loudly but truthfully.